morning and welcome to year number 4 of Pitt to the Point. I'm Risa Campbell.
And I'm Morgan Wilfong. Pitt to the Point is your weekly 1-hour news and magazine program that airs live from the state-of-the-art Pitt studios.
Pitt to the Point covers everything from the University of Pittsburgh to the City of Pittsburgh, as well as national and international events, news, people, and stories.
We're back with your favorite segments such as Alumni Spotlight and Clubbing at Pitt, which showcases one of our amazing student-run clubs here.
We'll feature stories from our incredible University of Pittsburgh regional campuses, and Crossing Over at Pitt is back to show you how different departments at Pitt collaborate on the most innovative teaching in the country.
We also have some new segments too. MVP, Most Valuable Professor, features, and you'll love our Pitt in the Wild feature.
And we'll be joined live by our affiliate college and high school partners and their student anchors who will tell you what's going on in their schools and their communities. Now, we're statewide from Pittsburgh to Lancaster to Philadelphia.
And of course, we'll continue to bring you the most up-to-date news from the world of politics, sports, medicine, and entertainment in the city of Pittsburgh and at the University of Pittsburgh.
This past Tuesday in Saudi Arabia, United States and Russian officials are pushing for new elections in Ukraine and proposing a peace agreement.
The groups are seeking terms for a peace agreement and are negotiating a meeting with President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. The framework involves a potential ceasefire followed by elections.
UK President Volodymyr Zelensky claims that Ukraine would never accept peace terms negotiated by the US and Russia without involvement from its country.
President Zelensky has stated that Ukraine's security must be prioritized in any peace talks, warning that a deal brokered by Washington and Moscow alone would undermine Ukraine's independence.
Global leaders continue to debate the feasibility of a peace plan as the war nears its third year.
Is this the beginning of the end of the war?
We're ready for peace, but our peace for our country is all our country, all our territory. That's why we are fighting against Russian aggression.
The University of Pittsburgh heavily relies on federal research funding as the university currently receives $700 million in grants from the National Institute of Health and ranks at 6th in the nation.
The American Association of Medical Colleges and the University of Pittsburgh has blocked these funding caps, and the future of research is now at stake. For more on this, we turn to our political reporter, Duran Moenberg. Duran?
It's been 2 weeks since the National Institutes of Health announced a 15% indirect funding cap on all grants. The National Institutes of Health say this is going to save the federal government $9 billion every year, but members of university communities, including the University of Pittsburgh communities, are a lot less excited.
The federal government's planned funding caps sent shockwaves through the University of Pittsburgh's research community, but it wasn't just the professors and grad students who were worried about their funding. Undergraduate students at Pitt, the nation's 6th largest recipient of National Institutes of Health funding, are worried about how their lab lives will be affected. Current senior and psychology research assistant Dave Chopra said, quote, "There will be a lot more of, please come work on a volunteer basis. It's not sustainable for a lot of undergraduate students to just drop everything and work for no pay." Chopra added that, quote, "The labs and research positions that currently pay students to do work, there just won't be as many opportunities anymore, and that's disappointing." The cap's effects won't be limited to undergraduate research either. Some students are worried about how their classroom experiences will be affected by the changing ongoing research.
Now, if there are NIH cuts that happen that will either prevent research from happening or certain research might not go towards X, Y, and Z studies, we wouldn't be able to get that information about what's happening in real time as neuro majors or perhaps future doctors.
The planned indirect funding caps have been blocked by Massachusetts District Judge Angel Kelly, but all 3 lawsuits revolving around the cuts are currently pending. The The cuts may be paused now, but all agree that if they're enacted, the future of Pitt research and teaching is uncertain at best.
Judge Kelly has scheduled a hearing over the current block for later today. We will keep you posted on any future updates about this story. Morgan, Risa?
Thanks, Ron. So I want to know, how do you think the NIH's plan to cap indirect funding will impact Pitt's research?
Well, it's interesting. Private grant givers are still available, and they could make up any costs that the federal government isn't willing to cover. However, the caps may not actually go into effect at all. Like I said, there are 3 current lawsuits pending to see if the caps stay in place. But either way, the university should start prioritizing other funding means as the caps might be implemented in the next round of grant giving. Morgan, Risa?
Thanks, Ron.
A House GOP proposal has suggested $2.5 trillion in cuts to Medicaid on behalf of the Trump administration.
These budget reductions are widely affecting Pennsylvania residents and hospitals in rural areas. Medicaid currently ranks 5th in the nation for rural populations and is vital for providing healthcare to the state.
More than 37% of children in rural areas of Pennsylvania rely on Medicaid for their coverage, and more than 1.7 million people total live in these areas.
The future of Pennsylvania relies heavily on this proposal, as rural residents already tend to have worse health outcomes, including higher maternal and infant mortality rates. There have been concerns surrounding the hearing of a possible closure of some of the Penn State branch campuses.
These satellite campuses have been successfully run and have produced many degrees. However, it was said that the problem was that they lack sustainability.
Penn State currently has a total of 19 campuses, including Abington, Brandywine, Greater Valley, and Lehigh.
With the hearings of the possible closures, there have been some talk among students and staff about the impact that these closures will have, and it raises concerns for their futures at Penn State.
Their hopes are that they won't have to find another job or another campus to finish their degree. With so many newsworthy events happening on campus, it can be hard to keep up. That's where our newspaper, the Pitt News, comes in.
Here are the top headlines from our award-winning newspaper. It is the Pitt News on Pitt to the Point.
Pitt Swim and Dive is currently competing for the ACC Championships in Greensboro, North Carolina. The Panthers have been competing against 14 ACC foes since the 18th, with their last game being tomorrow on the 22nd. A meeting for the Student Government Board was held on the 11th at Nordy's Place, where several different issues were discussed. Students for Justice in Palestine raised concerns as 2 questions they had submitted to the Student Government Board had been rejected. The board also introduced a resolution aiming to limit single-use plastic water bottles, as well as new improvements for student renters. President Donald Trump has begun his rollback of anti-discrimination policies, some of which are beginning to affect University of Pittsburgh unions and bargaining contracts. The policies were enforced to protect employees with federal contracts from job discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin.
You know, diversity, equity, and inclusion, what do these things mean? They mean that students and faculty and staff have equal opportunities to access educational opportunities, to access jobs and benefits. It's still illegal for an employer to discriminate against someone on the basis of their race or their gender. It's still required that employers and other organizations provide reasonable accommodations for people with disabilities.
As of 7 p.m. on Sunday, Salem's Market in Pittsburgh's Hill District has temporarily paused.
This family-owned business committed to providing fresh food to all families while building bridges to equality opened only 1 year ago.
Our business and technology reporter Jacob Gordon filed this report on a popular grocery store in the Hill District that is closing even after the Urban Redevelopment Authority approved $1.4 million to help open Salem's Market. It's now leaving potentially hundreds of shoppers in the dark.
The Hill District of Pittsburgh, an area already with very few grocery options, is closing a major store for its community. Salem's Market, located on Center Ave, opened just over a year ago in February of 2024, but at least for now, it's closing its doors to customers.
I'm a little disappointed that it's only been here for not even a year, and they're closing. I'm a little bit upset about it because it's convenient for me and my family because we live up the street. We have to go to Giant Eagles and get Ubers and jitneys, and when we could just walk down the street.
A spokesperson from the market said in a statement that a couple weeks ago, the owner of the store met with community members and told them that they would have to go on an operational pause indefinitely and that it would allow them to restructure. The long-term status of the market is still in jeopardy, however, as the spokesperson said that they could not guarantee the grocery store would reopen. With the store closing, many members of the community will now have to go all the way to the south side to get groceries, restoring this area of the Hill District's status as a food desert.
I'm here 3 times a week at least. It'd be very frustrating because you have a lot of senior citizens up here. Oh yeah, I would like to see it reopen, most definitely.
Salem's market was a place that was welcoming to all members of the Pittsburgh communities, including Middle Eastern community members who came to rely on the market for things like halal meats. While the store may not be gone for good, it will surely be missed.
Pittsburgh Mayor Ed Gainey said last week before its closing that he is in talks with the store and that he wants to work with them to ensure it reopens one day in the future.
Coming up on Pitt to the Point, we get to learn all about Market Square renovations, groundbreaking science innovations,
and another week means we get to be joined with another group of high school broadcasters all the way from Riverside High School.
We can't wait to hear what they have in store for us. All that and more when we return with Pitt to the Point.
Part of the University of Pittsburgh is the Cathedral of Learning.
There's a lot you can say about this place. Gritty? Well, we prefer tough. Resilient. Innovative, of course. We are part of the city that built the backbone of America, and now we're making it bend and flex in every which way.
Your time at Pitt has also prepared you for what is possible.
But there's one thing you can't deny. When the world needs something, we find a way to give it to them. Whether that's defeating a crippling disease,
Salt's exhausting labors had paid off,
or fighting off the world's next life-threatening illness, we focus our eyes and attention on the ones who need us most, day in and far out.
The Pittsburgh Panthers are the National Collegiate Champions.
So the question we have to deal with is, can we work and build together even when we're different?
All this comes naturally when you've built a foundation on community in a city that feels more like a family at a time when there's basically no other choice. So yeah, there's a lot you can say about this place. But this is what we know. We know that we've earned more than $1 billion in research funding just this year alone. We know that we're breaking ground for more groundbreaking innovation. We know that if you throw a problem our way, we'll do the work to solve it.
You are here, standing, greeted by the end of one journey and the beginning of the next.
We know that it's possible at Pitt.
There is no patent. Could you patent the sun?
Thanks for tuning back in to Pitt to the Point. Happen to watch a story today that piques your curiosity? Want to find out more about what's going on in Pittsburgh? Visit our website.
That's right. If you want to find out more about the world of politics, medicine, business, and technology, and more, log on to pitttothepoint.com. Not only can you see clips from today's show, you can also read about the topics that interest you and more. Check it out at pitttothepoint.com. Market Square is starting its renovations on April 1st and are set to be done before the 2026 NFL Draft.
There will be new traffic plans because of the removal of parking lanes and cobble streets where concrete and granite pavers will be put in for a smoother surface.
However, these renovations and the changes they have caused have led many businesses to have some mixed opinions.
We now turn to our City Beat reporter live from Market Square, Olivia McDonald. Olivia?
Thanks, Morgan and Risa. I'm here live at Market Square in downtown Pittsburgh, where in just a short couple of weeks, we will see construction begin as Market Square gets a new makeover. No longer will there be cobblestone roads or parking lanes, but soon a smooth path filled with concrete and granite.
With the new approval of Market Square's renovations, many businesses and restaurants have many different thoughts about what will happen come April 1st. This renovation is a part of Governor Josh Shapiro's $62 million investment and 10-year plan to give downtown Pittsburgh a makeover.
I think it'll be great for businesses around here. I think there's already a lot of foot traffic as it is, being in the center of the city. New installation of, the Market Square and what they're doing. I think it's going to be really, really good, and we're going to be even busier. And hopefully this could be a spot just like the North Shore, the Strip District, Lawrenceville, where people come to hang out, have fun on their off days, and enjoy their time in the city.
I don't think it will affect our business because we are established and we have been in Market Square for the last decade. I think some other newer businesses may suffer, but I'm trying to stay positive. I don't think it'll hurt business now that they're keeping part of the square open. I do think there are other priorities in Market Square regarding safety and security that they should probably take a look at, but we'll see.
I would think that it would have a greatly positive effect on the city. Market Square is definitely one of the places where, it's a vital part of downtown. And I think it's important that, that they're doing this, for Market Square, and all the businesses are hopefully going to benefit from this project. So I definitely think with all the foot traffic that already comes in before the renovations, I think with the renovations up and coming, hopefully we have even more foot traffic, even more popularity with Market Square, because it is a great place to come, whether it's with friends or family. So hopefully this new project they're having, I think it's going to be great for us, and hopefully a lot more people in the door for us that, that love golf and, love to have a good time.
Construction will begin as early as April 1st, as the city has high hopes to get it done and ready, as Pittsburgh is planned to host the 2026 NFL Draft next April. Live from Market Square in downtown Pittsburgh, I'm Pitt to the Point City Beat reporter Olivia McDonald. Morgan, Risa.
Thanks, Olivia. And so we were wondering, do you think these renovations will attract more people to the area?
I think these renovations will definitely attract more people to the area, especially making the square more modern. And with the draft coming up, we will have more people coming to visit, and more businesses will have more people to join them. Morgan, Risa.
Thanks so much, Olivia. For the very first time, Smithsonian is making its way to Pittsburgh, as middle school kids in Hazelwood are learning all things science through hands-on activities. From DNA to renewable energy and so much more, these students are making stellar progress in shaping the future of science, bringing us to the subject of today's Crossing Over at Pitt.
Pittsburgh's Hazelwood neighborhood, once home to steel mills, is now transforming into a biotech hub. But the change isn't just happening in new buildings. It's starting in middle school classrooms.
That's all it is. Just the order of the middle part there that determines if something is a strawberry or a dog or a maple tree, for example.
The University of Pittsburgh and Smithsonian have launched a first-of-its-kind program, bringing advanced biotechnology labs directly to Hazelwood middle schoolers.
My immediate role was really around science education. So how do we support community members thinking about the science that's sort of really relevant to them?
Inside these classrooms, students aren't just reading about science. They're extracting DNA and creating biofuels, experiments typically reserved for university labs.
they have created curricula that is both standardized in terms of meeting science standards, but can be modified for your local community. So like the Potomac River and the pollution crisis that happened there, which obviously is easily transferable to the Pittsburgh area and our three rivers and our own sort of history with pollution there. So there's opportunities for both making it locally relevant, but connecting it, to the broader science standards.
As the neighborhood's BioForge facility takes shape, these students are getting early access to the biotech skills that could shape their futures here.
One of the goals of Smithsonian is really to have the students see themselves as problem solvers and being part of the scientific community.
We welcome today, joining us from Riverside High School, Owen Maddox and Austin Haley. How are you guys doing?
Good morning, Risa and Morgan. I'm Austin, here with Owen. We're grateful to be on this week's broadcast to Pitt to the Point.
Riverside High School is an hour north of Pittsburgh, and this year's graduating class consists of 100 students.
Today we have a spotlight that features one of our elective classes.
For years, Boston Dynamics has displayed more and more advanced robots that can maneuver and look like humans. This, coupled with a recent announcement of Tesla's new Optimus robot, has shown that humanoid robots are now much more than mere science fiction. To learn more for myself, I went down to Riverside's own robotics lab.
So how do you describe robotics? I would describe it as a mixture of engineering and programming. So we come up with design, try to build it, and then we have a computer in that robot that we program and it tries to follow our commands.
Programming is what allows robots to function. They can be programmed to complete sequences of actions or to react to commands given by a controller. While Riverside's robots are a bit simpler than the ones I mentioned before, they can still be programmed to complete very impressive feats. Riverside's Robotics Club also takes part in robotics competitions, where they test their skills against other schools' robots. Whichever school's robot performs best, wins. So good luck out there, Riverside.
So Austin and Owen, this looks like such an amazing class, and I need to know, are you guys involved in the class?
I am involved in the class. I have it third period.
And I am not in the class.
Well, that's awesome. And so Austin, even though you might not be involved in the class right now, is this something you might be considering in the future?
So I'm a senior, so I won't have the chance to take it in the future. But I have taken computer programming and some other elective classes.
That sounds awesome. I mean, robotics sounds like such a hard thing to do. I could never do it. So I have to know, Owen, what are the challenges that you might face with this class?
So some of the main challenges that you find in it is troubleshooting with coding, creating the right programs for the right job. Just getting it to do what you want really is the main challenge.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds amazing. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on and joining us today. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
From the Four Nations Hockey Tournament to the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds, if there's one thing about Pittsburgh is that their sports culture runs deep.
We are talking all things sports when Pitt to the Point returns.
You have to throw caution to the wind. Know you're capable.
There's possible.
The University of Pittsburgh.
And then there's our kind of possible. The kind that changes the face of medicine, tech, and learning.
It might have been called a miracle.
Because when we say it's possible at Pitt, we mean it. And the proof is in the people. Like Rachel Fairbanks, our top of the class and top of the game athlete of the year, who's serving nothing but excellence. Fulbrights, we're full of them. From BB to Jasmine to the next 250, including 10 in the past year alone.
It's really part of that bolstering of our global reputation.
Possible lives inside everyone at Pitt, from every corner of every campus. Like the McGowan Institute, where they are rethinking, researching, and completely revolutionizing how the body heals through a novel approach to regenerative medicine. All led by visionaries like Dr. Chandan Sen.
You can generate tissue types without using stem cells. And now we know that is possible. That will completely change the paradigm of healthcare.
Our kind of possible paves the way through selfless action and giving.
We all come together with a shared goal of giving today to transform tomorrow.
Ever see 11,000 Proud fuel this much opportunity in 24 hours? We have. And you're about to see it too. In the progress all around you. As our people continue to bring our vision and our promise to life. In newer, bigger, and bolder ways. It's possible at Pitt.
Someone a long time ago had an idea that we could change the way we do things. What if you had over 30,000 big thinkers and believers behind you, and $1 billion in research to make it happen? With a will that never quits in a city connected to everything. Well, you'd probably find yourself doing something truly incredible.
Hello, and welcome back to Pitt to the Point.
The show has flown by today, but don't fret, we'll be right back with you next week at the same time, and the week after that, and the week after that.
Pitt to the Point airs every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on the amazing University of Pittsburgh website, the Pitt to the Point website, and YouTube channel. You can also find a taped version of the show on Pittsburgh CBSN, which is KDKA's TV streaming platform, on Saturday at noon.
And we're excited to say you can also catch a re-airing of today's Pitt to the Point in Philadelphia every Saturday at 12 noon on CBS Philadelphia's streaming platform. The Four Nations Hockey Tournament Final occurred last night with Canada defeating the United States in a thrilling overtime matchup. The game, held at TD Garden in Boston, saw intense action from start to finish, with Connor McDavid securing the victory by a score of 3-2.
Despite McDavid's game-winning performance, it was Nathan Mackin who was honored as the tournament's most valuable player, leading with 4 goals over 4 games.
Leading Team Canada as captain was none other than Pittsburgh Penguins legend Sidney Crosby. The 37-year-old veteran added yet another championship to his career, marking his 6th major international title with Canada.
For Pittsburgh hockey fans, seeing Crosby lift another trophy is a familiar sight. The longtime captain has already led the team to 3 Stanley Cup championships and continues to be the face of hockey in the city.
After Canada's 3-2 win over the U.S., Pittsburgh fans will now turn their attention back to the Penguins as Crosby looks to bring that same championship energy back home to PPG Paints Arena.
Right away because guys were jumping everywhere, but when I realized it was him, like I said, couldn't be happier for him. He cares so much. He's an unbelievable player and has done a lot already in his career, but I'm sure this one feels good, and we needed it. We needed it big time.
The Thunderbirds are a professional ultimate frisbee team based in Pittsburgh.
Over the years, the sport has been growing in popularity, and the Thunderbirds have worked to make this game more accessible and affordable for anyone.
And this season, the organization will be celebrating its 10th anniversary. We now turn to our city sports reporter, Katie Pearson. Katie?
Living in Pittsburgh, you see so many sports fans rocking the black and gold and cheering for their favorite pro sports teams, whether it's the Steelers, the Penguins, the Pirates, or the Riverhounds. However, there's another team that wears those sacred colors, the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds of the Ultimate Frisbee Association.
The Pittsburgh Thunderbirds are a professional ultimate frisbee team that competes in the Ultimate Frisbee Association, better known as the UFA. Co-founder, co-owner, and general manager Andrew Gardner discussed how the idea for a pro ultimate team in Pittsburgh came about.
Well, the University of Pittsburgh is actually a national powerhouse in ultimate frisbee, so they're really, really good. They won national championships in 2013 and 2014, so they're called Pittsburgh and Sabinur. And right around the time when I had graduated, the American Ultimate Disc League at the time was looking for teams. We were looking in the market as a Northeast Ohio kid. We looked at Pittsburgh as a perennial powerhouse and decided we thought that this would be a really good market to establish a professional frisbee team.
And since the team's creation in 2015, their goal has remained the same: to spread the sport of ultimate frisbee.
Well, we want to expand and grow the sport of ultimate frisbee. I think it's a really awesome sport that not a lot of people know about. We think we can get to that level of being right up there along the major four, but that's part of the reason why we do this, is just to show folks that it's a really great sport. It's very accessible, it's affordable, and we're just trying to expand that footprint.
Gardner said a unique part of the team is that the players work outside of playing for the Thunderbirds.
I've been saying it's like 1930s football, where these players, they get paid to play, but it's a smaller stipend, but we cover everything. So in order to subsidize their playing, they have to have 9-to-5 jobs. So we have chemists and engineers and teachers and guys from all varying backgrounds.
According to Gardner, the community is the best part of ultimate frisbee.
The biggest is the community. I saw some guys throwing some frisbee on the quad, and then I was like the fastest guy on the team. And so they loved that, but I didn't know how to throw. They took me in. I didn't have to rush. I didn't do like the fraternity, but those guys were my fraternity. And I would say anyone who's thinking about playing ultimate frisbee, there's Pittsburgh Ultimate, which is sort of like the community-based ultimate program here in Pittsburgh. You can find pickup spots. You can just find a really good group of friends where if you just say, hey, I play frisbee, there's a good chance that they'll let you stay at your home. That's how nice of a community this is, and that's sort of what we do. We build community.
The 10th season of Thunderbirds Ultimate Frisbee will kick off on Friday, May 2nd at Highmark Stadium with a 7 p.m. start time as they take on the Indianapolis Alley Cats. For more information on the Thunderbirds, visit their website or social media platforms.
The Pittsburgh sports scene is certainly in good hands with the Thunderbirds on the map. And while everyone is buying their tickets to the Thunderbirds home opener, I will be here in the studio learning how to throw my new frisbee. For Pitt to the Point, I'm City Sports reporter Katie Pearson. Morgan, Risa.
Thanks, Katie. Now, it seems like you are an expert at ultimate frisbee. Do you plan on trying out the sport anytime soon?
Honestly, right now, it's not on my radar. I'm a part of an intramural volleyball team, so that's what I have. But, if the opportunity were to arise, I may give it a shot. I own the frisbee now, so I might as well become the athlete too, right?
Yeah, why not? Thank you, Katie. The University of Pittsburgh swimming and diving take on the ACC championships this week in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Pitt's team has been very successful so far, with Cameron Cash winning a bronze medal and both the men and women's 800 relay teams breaking school records among many other victories.
The championship will continue today and the final events will be tomorrow.
The University of Pittsburgh has some of the most talented professors in the world.
The professors at Pitt surely provide all the students with a once-in-a-lifetime experience while preparing students like us for exceptional careers.
That's why we consider the professors here our most valuable professors. Today, we take a look at a Pitt professor who is considered a legend by any student who has been in his class. Meet our most valuable professor, Rob Rupp.
I've been going to Pitt basketball games since the 1970s when I was in grad school here. And over the years, have taught a lot of the players on the team. And gotten to know the coaching staff, and along with my good buddy Marcus Rediker, who's an historian at Pitt, have helped the team when they're recruiting by meeting with recruits and their parents. And, I think both of us have found some of the students we've taught over the years have been not just wonderful athletes, but smart, bright, wonderful people as well. I think that you get to know these people more than just their on the court presence. you see how difficult it is to juggle the demands on a student athlete, which have gotten extremely intense, particularly with heightened travel. And you know what they're going through, you know a little bit about them, and you care about them because you developed a relationship with them. And to me, that is indeed the best thing about sport. Not to be rooting and cheering for people whose salaries are longer than your telephone number, but people who you feel are a part of your community. One of the great things about teaching the history of sport at Pitt is that there are so many people in the room who know more than you know more than I know. And, there are basketball players, but I have runners, wrestlers, baseball, lacrosse, volleyball, the gamut of sports. And they share certain concerns and issues in terms of athletic performance, about the rapidly changing collegiate landscape of sport, and in many cases, aspirations to make a career in sport. But they're also very different from each other. And it just enriches the experience. The more I teach sport, the more I learn about the people who are participating at every level. And I think it enriches the class. And I think that, I think the students who are not student athletes in the class enjoy the fact that they're with people who are going through what they're going through and get to root for them as well. The best thing about sport is when you're the participant. The next best thing is knowing and liking and caring about the people who are competing.
Pittsburgh Penguins legendary Hall of Fame play-by-play announcer provided the soundtrack for the organization to hockey fans around the world. On Wednesday, Mr. Lang passed away. He was 76.
For 46 years, Mr. Lang's smooth melodic voice and unforgettable catchphrases such as "I'll be cow-kicked," "He's smiling like a butcher's dog," "Look out, Loretta," and of course, "It's a hockey night in Pittsburgh" became part of Pittsburgh's lexicon.
Mr. Lang's voice was the play-by-play for all 5 Stanley Cup clinching calls. He emceed Mario Lemieux's retirement and celebrated his comeback.
From the Lemieux era to the Crosby era, Mike's Langisms will be remembered by hockey fans forever.
Hey, Sam, a drink and get it, dog. 1-2.
Lemieux trying to get around and does. He walks in alone on Monk, makes a little move. He shoots and scores! Mario Lemieux beats Monk like a ready mule.
Oh, get in the fast lane, Grandma. The bingo game is ready to roll.
Like the Penguins have won the Stanley Cup. Oh, Lord Stanley, get me the brandy.
Oh, call Arnold Slick from Turtle Creek.
Over to Lemieux.
Mario Lemieux, his first goal in his comeback here tonight at the Mellon Arena. And the Penguins lead 3-0, and he is smiling like a butcher's dog. Mario Lemieux. Oh, she wants to sell my monkey. Kenny Malkin. That's number 50. Make me 50 milkshakes, Mr. Malkin. And ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building.
We wear it with pride. Shout it from podiums.
Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt.
And prove it out time and time again. It's possible at Pitt. Now we have an opportunity to give these words even deeper meaning by making Pitt possible for all. Because it's not enough to just welcome one of the largest first-year classes in university history. We must ensure that every student from any background has every opportunity to pursue whatever they want to pursue. Thankfully, there's a plan in place to increase access and affordability and eliminate financial barriers for students in need, to help more upper-class students reach the finish line when they meet unseen hurdles, to go dollar for dollar, matching federal Pell Grants to the tune of more than 139 million big ones, to continue opening doors and kickstarting careers, to expand our programs, enhance our support systems, and meet our students where they are, literally, online, in the workforce, and on multiple platforms. Possibility is what drives us, but let's not forget, students are what make us. They are the ones at the center of our mission. They are the ones who will meet the world's needs. We are the ones who can make their possible, possible.
Welcome to the Pitt News, the University of Pittsburgh's daily student newspaper. Through the collaboration of our editorial, marketing, and sales departments, we consistently produce award-winning content and provide our students with invaluable professional experience. The success of the Pitt News comes from our students, and we are proud of the legacy we have created for over 100 years.
There is no patent. Could you patent the sun?
Morning Reckoning is making its debut at Pitt. This play is written by Kelly Trumbull, who happens to be a teaching assistant professor at Pitt in the Department of Theater Arts.
The plot is brought about by memories from Trumbull's past, and she even recruited her husband and friend to compose original songs for the play.
We now toss to our Pitt beat reporter, Sabrina Butza. Sabrina?
Thank you. Pitt Stage's new play, Morning Reckoning, was written by Pitt faculty member Kelly Trumbull. She's a teaching assistant in Pitt's Theater Arts Department, and she had the honor of her play being produced here at Pitt. If she were to describe the play in 3 words, she would describe it as adolescent, heartfelt, and boy bands. Let's look into her creative process and the journey that she had when working on Morning Reckoning.
Morning Reckoning is about a teenage boy band fan club in Wayne, New Jersey in the year 1999. They spend all their time sort of worshiping Morning Reckoning. There's an event that happens in the play that is very formative for all of them. The play cuts to 20 years later, and we meet all of these women as adults and sort of examine how this formative experience has shaped them each individually.
Trumbull's a teaching assistant in the theater department here at Pitt and has been writing this play since 2020.
So this play was originally conceived in a playwriting workshop that I actually took over the pandemic in 2020. We did this exercise called Mining Your Life. And so basically you have 5 minutes to write down every interesting thing about your life that you can remember. One of the things that I wrote down was this memory of having sleepovers with my friends in middle school in basements and learning boy band dances. And so that was originally the spark that started Morning Reckoning.
She describes her unique experience with this being her first production at Pitt.
It's really wonderful. In some ways, it creates challenges because it's being produced in a department that I teach in. And so there's like a closeness to it that I don't think I would experience if it was produced somewhere else. But I do feel so thankful to Pitt Stages and to the Theater Arts Department for their support of my work. And so it's really wonderful to have it produced here, where I know so many students and I feel so supported by my colleagues. Keep writing. Don't be afraid to approach people with your work, but just finding time to write, not being afraid to tell people that you wrote a play, not being afraid to talk about your art, talk about what it's about. That's been a huge part in how my work gets produced.
If you want to see Trumbull's vision of boy bands and rekindled friendships come to life, see Morning Reckoning at the Ross Studio Theater tonight at 8 p.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., or Sunday at 2 p.m. It will give you a sense of nostalgia that you wouldn't want to miss. Trumbull's husband actually had the pleasure of writing the score for the boy band music. I would love to hear the inspiration that came from NSYNC to the Backstreet Boys. So if you were gonna ask someone if I was gonna see the show, it's gonna be me. Bye. I'm the Pitt Beat reporter, Sabrina Munsa. Risa, Morgan.
Thanks so much, Sabrina. So we were wondering, have you ever been to any of Pitt's plays before?
Oh, of course. I am a theater arts minor, so I have the pleasure of having tickets to see every play production that I can.
Thanks, Sabrina. If you have a keen interest in movies, film, and television, it's time for you to check out the Steel City Entertainment Networking Entity, also known as SCENE.
SCENE at Pitt strives to help students within the film community succeed through workshops, panels, and networking opportunities. Here's a closer look at SCENE's mission and what they're all about.
Way back in the spring of 2002, Hollywood screenwriter, producer, and Pitt professor Carl Kurlander worked with film exec, producer, and Pittsburgh native Bernie Goldman to start Pitt in Hollywood, a student org with the goal of connecting film students with industry professionals and opportunities. Now, over 20 years later, this club goes by SCENE for Steel City Entertainment Networking Entity.
SCENE, I would explain it as a one-stop shop for networking opportunities with other students, with like an environment to get your hands on equipment, to meet other people from disciplines that are related to film. So you might meet film majors, but you also might meet music majors, people in design, people in business. One of my biggest hang-ups historically as a film major at Pitt is insecurity or fear that I won't know enough people to build a crew, or I won't have enough connections to draw on, and SCENE gives you that and more. If you're a dues paying member, you get access to like a Rolodex of contacts that we all just kind of compile based on our different work or internship experiences.
Dues paying members also receive access to the extensive collection of quality film equipment that SCENE has built over the years, worth thousands of dollars.
Access to equipment is really important because you feel like you're fighting for it at Hillman. The fact that you also get it through SCENE is really helpful, and the fact that you have really capable tech directors who can explain to you how everything works and can sort of help you along from the perspective of another student.
Luckily, all Pitt students can get involved with SCENE at any time.
If you look at our Instagram page, you know when the next GBM will be, and to show up to one meeting you don't have to pay anything, you don't have to be a dues paying member just to show up, but you can really feel out the vibe pretty easily.
Keeping up membership and dues is essential to supporting this valuable resource.
Our funding sometimes dips, which sometimes impedes like our ability to either provide equipment or to sort of fund more extracurricular opportunities. Maintaining morale and maintaining the motivation to come out and be with the group can be a bit hard, and understandably so.
If you're even adjacent to film and media, whether it be a passion or a future career, there's really just one thing left to do.
Come join SCENE. It's a great place to be, and there's just always something for everyone.
This past weekend, Saturday Night Live celebrated its 50th birthday that ended with a 3-hour-long program of a sketch comedy show.
This event brought in original, past, and current members of the cast together at Studio 8H, where SNL takes place.
A red carpet and homecoming concert were also included after the episode.
We now turn to our entertainment reporter, Natalie Silverman. Natalie?
Live from Pitt Studios, it's Friday morning. This week, I had the honor of interviewing my friend Kelsey Bolion, who was lucky enough to attend the SNL 50 red carpet.
Right now, all I gotta say is, live from New York, it's Saturday night!
Saturday Night Live is perhaps one of the most iconic late-night shows in television history. And this year, the late-night conglomerate is celebrating a milestone birthday of 50 years. The celebratory weekend kicked off with a homecoming concert, followed by a red carpet event, and ending in a 3-hour-long special of the show, featuring cast members both past and present. My friend was lucky enough to attend the red carpet.
It was the coolest thing that's happened to me. It was so cool to kind of see the behind the scenes also of how everything's run, and see like the experience of being on a red carpet, because I feel like when you're watching the live stream, it's like everybody like takes their time, but like there's like publicists like pulling people for interviews, And a lot of the celebrities were so nice to like take pictures with the fans, and it was great.
And of course, everyone was in a party mood.
The vibes were so high. The fan section was absolutely buzzing. I really love that they actually like reached out to a lot of fans. I feel like it's easy to just like grab influencers, but like everybody was like, it might have been their first time on a carpet. For me, it was. So everyone was like really excited to just celebrate the show as a whole. Thank you, SNL. Thank you, Anya Taylor-Joy, for taking a picture with me. That's quite it.
As you can see, SNL was throwing a fabulous birthday event. Here's to 50 more years of iconic late-night sketch comedy from Studio AH. With Pitt to the Point, I'm your entertainment reporter, Natalie Silverman. Morgan, Teresa?
Thanks, Natalie. I mean, I feel like I probably already know the answer to this question, but would you consider yourself a fan of Saturday Night Live? And what was one of your favorite moments from the 50th episode?
That's a great question. I mean, obviously, it'd be crazy if I said I wasn't a fan of Saturday Night Live. I'm definitely a fan, a newer one, I will say. But of course, I watched the SNL 50. It was great. My favorite sketch was probably the New York one, because I love Les Mis, and they parodied that, and I love Pete Davidson, and like Paul Rudd and Scarlett Johansson, so it was just a great sketch.
Yeah, no, that's a great cast, great city. I love it, all of it. Thank you, Natalie.
The Heinz History Center and the Carnegie Library are just two of the incredible staples in the city of Pittsburgh. More on these establishments when we return.
Part of the University of Pittsburgh is the Cathedral of Learning.
There's a lot you can say about this place. Gritty? Well, we prefer tough. Resilient. Innovative, of course. We are part of the city that built the backbone of America, and now we're making it bend and flex in every which way.
Your time at Pitt has also prepared you for what is possible.
But there's one thing you can't deny. When the world needs something, we find a way to give it to them. Whether that's defeating a crippling disease,
Salt's exhausting labor that paid off,
or fighting off the world's next life-threatening illness, we focus our eyes and attention on the ones who need us most, day in and far out.
The Pittsburgh Panthers are the National Collegiate Champions.
So the question we have to deal with is, can we work and build together even when we're different?
All this comes naturally when you've built a foundation on community in a city that feels more like a family at a time when there's basically no other choice. So yeah, there's a lot you can say about this place. But this is what we know. We know that we've earned more than $1 billion in research funding just this year alone. We know that we're breaking ground for more groundbreaking innovation. We know that if you throw a problem our way, we'll do the work to solve it.
You are here, standing, greeted by the end of one journey and the beginning of the next.
We know that it's possible at Pitt.
Welcome to the Pitt News, the University of Pittsburgh's daily student newspaper. Through the collaboration of our editorial, marketing, and sales departments, we consistently produce award-winning content and provide our students with invaluable professional experience. The success of the Pitt News comes from our students, and we are proud of the legacy we have created for over 100 years.
There is no patent. Could you patent the sun?
Well, if for some weird reason you missed a segment from Pitt to the Point or missed the show altogether, don't fret. We've got a website for that. The Pitt to the Point website, pittothepoint.com, has all of your favorite stories from politics to sports to entertainment, plus plenty more. On top of that, we also have exclusive articles from your favorite Pitt to the Point personalities. Go check out the website today.
Our very own Heinz History Center is being nominated again by USA Today as the best history museum in America.
The center's goal is to honor and preserve the past of Pittsburgh and the people that have lived there.
It is left up to the people to decide what museum deserves this honor. So we will have to see if the Heinz History Center can hold the title for the second year in a row. One of our brand new features on season 4 of Pitt to the Point is called Pitt in the Wild.
Pitt in the Wild is an audio look at life on the Pitt campus and in Oakland. A kind of look at the campus that you probably haven't seen.
This week's Pitt in the Wild is courtesy of a very talented student named Ashley Doherty, who is in one of our broadcast classes taught by the amazing Lisa Johnson.
Ashley's soundscape takes us to one of our favorite places in Oakland, the world-renowned Carnegie Library. Enjoy Pitt in the Wild.
Wait.
Thank you for joining us on Pitt to the Point.
For the next 8 weeks, Pitt to the Point will be coming to you live at the same time.
You can catch a replay of the show on CBSN KDKA TV streaming platform every Saturday at 12 noon, as well as CBS Philadelphia's streaming platform at noon on Saturday.
And please go to our social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook.
Thank you for tuning in today.
Until next Friday, I'm Morgan Wilfong.
And I'm Risa Campbell. We'll see you next week on Pitt to the Point.